G'day Dragons fans, Benny here. First time for 2023. You guys have probably seen me. Been a bit quiet, been pretty busy with work, but definitely looking forward to another big season of the Red V running around. Probably not the start for the season that we would have hoped for pre-season with Junior and his off-field dramas, and a couple of injuries and obviously health concerns to Ramsey and Bud and those sort of guys. So I don't think it was really the kickoff that we all would have liked. But we'll see how the beginning of the season shapes up once we get on the paddock. It's obviously a lot different, but I'm going to run through my top 17 now. It's more my dream 17 than my top 17. It's definitely not the way Hook's going to go. But if I was coaching the Dragons, I'd definitely be shifting my focus from defence to attack. I said it a lot last year. The focus on defence really didn't work for us. We've got a strike across the field, and I think we should be utilising that a bit more. So this is how my top 17 lines up for 2023. Mika Ravalawa and Matt Feeney on the wings. Obviously, Mika coming off last season, had a lot of time off with his injuries. So hopefully he's on top of that and we can see him out being the weapon that he is for 2023. Hopefully, he stays away from the sideline and from injuries and suspensions and can really play his best footy because we know he's a try-scoring machine when he's on, he's on. So, really hoping he picks it up. And Matt Feeney, towards the end of last year, just playing some absolutely brilliant footy. Just creating stuff out of nothing, and obviously bagged that super memorable try. Beat half the Broncos side. So it was absolutely brilliant to see him playing some good footy. And I think he's just going to keep developing as well. Fullback, I've got Tyrell Sloan. Obviously, with Ramsey being crooked and no real idea when he's going to be returning, I think this is a perfect opportunity for Tyrell to sort of grab it and really make something of it. We know he has the potential and we know what he can do. And he's proven it in lower grades, but he's just got to make that step up to first grade and play some consistent footy. I think he can be an absolute superstar at fullback. He's definitely got all the tools in his bag. He's just got to put it together and just, overcome a bit of that sort of first grade pressure. And I think he's going to be an absolute superstar. Centres, I've got Sully and Lomax. Obviously, both powerhouse players. I think Lomax is still developing as a rugby league player. He's maturing as well. And I think that's been one of his biggest sort of gripes, especially last season. There's a few sort of head explosions and things like that. But as he matures as a football player and as a bloke, he's just going to be an absolute weapon. So, really excited to see how his 2023 shapes up. In the halves, Ben Hunt at 7, obviously, and obviously, I think Bud's going to be the number one pick at 6. For me, he's definitely not a 5'8", he's a fullback, but he's not going to get that opportunity until Hunt either gets injured or moves on. But I think playing 6 is going to be the next best thing for Bud. Just a brilliant natural football player. He can make stuff happen out of nothing. And he's a really, really exciting football player. And I think the Dragons are a better team with him on the field. He just seems to pick all the boys up and just play better footy when he's around them. So, pretty excited to see him getting a real good crack. Obviously, once his injuries are sort of knocked on the head and he can get back on the paddock and at full strength, I think he's going to be an absolute weapon. So I've got Blocker and Frankie Molo in the front row. Blocker obviously just heard today that he signed on for another 3 years, which is awesome news. Blocker's just bleeds red and white, absolute legend of a bloke. He bagged his first meat pie last year, which was ripper. Hopefully he gets a few more this year. I think Blocker, he's just one of those guys that just 110% effort all the time. The work that he does off the ball, a lot of people don't really see it, unless you're at the game and you're actually watching what he does. He just his second phase efforts and those little extra efforts that he makes, really makes a huge difference. A lot of people don't see that about Blocker, and a few people give him a hard time, and I don't think that's really right. I think he's a awesome footy player and loves the Dragons, and I hope he has a stellar year again. Yeah, Frankie Molo, I think he was one of the tough ones for me to take that second front row spot. I'd like to see guys like Jaden Hunt, get in there and have a crack. But I think Frankie is one of those guys that can make things really happen. He can pull out those big efforts. He's got the experience and he can really sort of turn a game on its head when he's on fire and just big hits, huge runs. So yeah, I'm hoping to see a lot of that from him in 2023. We saw glimpses of it in 22, and I really hope that he's a much more consistent footballer coming into this season. In the second row, I've got Jaden Sewer, obviously, and I've actually put in Tyrell Fermiano as my other second rower. I think Ty, yeah, he's had a few sort of discipline issues, but I think he's an awesome football player, and I think he's one of those guys that are still maturing as a football player and maturing as a bloke. So I think he's got all the skills that we need in that position. He's just got to put it all together. And I think when he does, he's going to be a dangerous football player. He's a big, strong guy, very mobile. So yeah, I'd love to see him have a red hot crack this year. I've got Jack de Belin in lock. That was a tough one for me too. I wouldn't mind seeing de Belin playing in the second row and playing a bit more structured footy, but having him not in the middle is just, it's so hard. He's such a good defender. Like his tackling technique is second to none. His work rate is huge. So to have him in the middle is just awesome. But the one thing about his game is I don't really like to see him playing like a 5'8". I think a more traditional lock role is probably better suited. Obviously, he's got freedom to move and freedom to range around and put himself where he needs to be. But to play more of a attacking ball type play is not really something that I see as one of his strengths. I think he's just better when he tucks it under his arm and runs and obviously his defence is super solid. So, but I love watching Jack play, and he's a real good bloke, and he loves the red and white. So yeah, he's definitely got to be somewhere in there, whether that's lock, second row, or anywhere else. He's definitely got to be in the 13. I skipped hooker because it's one of the ones that, for me, it's real tricky. Personally, I've got Connor Morhausen in there. I think he's on par with Little as far as running game. I think, but he's spent more time around the club, more time around the boys. I actually think he's probably going to be a better person in that spot than Jacob Little. I think Jacob Little's probably got a little bit more first grade experience, obviously. But as far as skills go, I think Connor's definitely up there. I don't know why he's not really getting the crack that he deserves. I think he's a brilliant football player and a very smart mind. There might be some questions around his fitness or his game time. I know through 2022, he was only doing sort of 40 to 50-minute stints in the hooker role. So that may be something he needs to work on, and something that he might have worked on during his preseason to get his minutes up. Because I think a hooker's got to definitely be 60 to 80 minute player at the first grade level. So hopefully that's something he's worked on. Yeah, and on the bench, a tricky one for me again. I'm sort of going, like I said, I'm going with my dream team, not my team that I think that Hook will pick. So my bench, I've got Ben Masila. I think he's going to be an absolute unit. He's a big boy. He's going to be everything that George Burgess should have been. He's a big, mobile guy. We're watching his highlight reel. He's quick on his feet. He's actually got a lot of speed for a guy his size. Good lateral movement, good ball skills as well. And he's got a heap of mongrel in him, which I absolutely love, as you guys probably know. I like big players to have a bit of mongrel in them. So, yeah, I think he's going to be awesome for us. I'm really, really keen to see him get out there in the red V and give it a real good shake. I've got Billy Burns on the bench as well. I think I'm a little bit dirty on Billy, or not on Billy, but on the club. I would have loved to see Jackson Ford take that spot, but obviously, Billy Burns was given the spot, and we lost Jackson. But it's a tough one for me. But I think Billy Burns he runs great lines, great angles. Good footwork. He's big, mobile, and he fits in well with the side. So I think he's got a lot to offer coming off the bench. Another one for me, which a lot of you guys probably won't agree with, is Josh Kerr. I've got Josh Kerr taking up one of the spots on the bench too. I think he's he's either going to have an absolute stellar season, or this will be his last in the Red V. I think everybody knows what he's capable of and what his potential is. He's a big guy. He's mobile. He's dynamic, but he's just such a gentle giant. I think if he really puts his head down and plays some good footy, he could make anything out of his footy career. So I really hope that he does that this season for us. I hope he's just that wrecking ball, dynamic, player that can really change games. Like everyone knows that he's got it in him, but he's just got to dig deep and find that. But from all reports, he's been training the house down in pre-season. So let's hope that this is Josh Kerr's year. Taking up my last spot on the bench is more of a utility player. A lot of people would have had Moses Mbye, but I've actually gone with Jack Bird. I'm not a huge fan of Moses. I can appreciate what he has to offer, but I think Jack Bird is a much more dynamic player, a much more exciting player to watch. Obviously, he can play a multiple number of positions. He has strike across the field. He has a kicking game, good passing game. Defensively, he's pretty good when he wants to actually grab a hold of a bloke, and he's surprisingly strong, Jack Bird. So I've got him taking a spot on the bench as well over Moses Mbye. So obviously that's how I would like to see it line up. It's probably not how it's going to happen, especially knowing Hook. But hey, we can all dream, can't we? But anyway, let us know what you think, and hopefully we'll catch up sometime during a game this season. I'm going to try to get as many as I can, and thanks for following the Mad Dragons, and up the Red V. Cheers, guys. Dragon!